Hi. So we're talking about the rhetorical situation. The rhetorical situation can also be called communication in context. So it's essentially whatever task you're trying to start or whatever action you're trying to start to create a change with something in the world, or like there's a specific problem, something that you're trying to edit. Um, it's important that you're able to use words to persuade others to create the change. So it takes into account rhetorical exigence, rhetorical audience, and constraints. And the rhetorical exigence is the problem the change is intended to deal with. So it's the main topic of what is trying to be solved or edited. Um, the better that you understand the problem or the exigence, the better you're able to solve it and decide what task needs to be done in order to best make the change. It's different from a phenomena. A phenomena is something like a natural disaster, death. It's something that is out of our control in a way. So, an example of rhetorical exigence versus just normal exigence. Um, if there's a hailstorm coming towards your area, that's a non-rhetoric exigence. But the potential damage to your car that could come from a hailstorm is a rhetorical exigence because people can be persuaded to park their cars in the garage or try to cover them. It's something that you have an effect over and can do something about. Um, yeah, and then communication must be used to solve the problem or it's not rhetorical exigence. So it's vital that you're trying to persuade someone to do a certain thing or trying to make them act a certain way towards the situation or problem at hand. Um, the rhetorical audience is who you're trying to persuade to make this action. There's two important criteria. The audience must be able to take part in the action intended to help the problem, and the creator must be able to convince the audience to change their opinion in the way they're asking them to. So it's just vital that the audience and the creator are able to communicate with one another, and the audience needs to be open to an extent to that change that the creator's trying to persuade them to make. Um, rhetorical constraints are just any factors that are limiting the change or action you're trying to start, which can be a lot of things. Examples are beliefs, motives, interests, traditions, things that people are more set in their ways about, facts. Um, like an example might be is that like you may feel you may believe strongly in your plan or your idea, but it may be against your audience's normal beliefs or traditions or views, and that's something you have to take into account. Constraints can come from both the creator or the audience. So you just have to be aware of that. Like if the creator's too stuck in their ways, that might limit the ability to persuade. And if the audience is very stuck in their ways, that might limit their ability to take in the advice or ideas you're trying to share with them in order for them to make a certain change. As far as this goes for professional writing contexts, I think being able to use the rhetorical situation is important for having the full idea of the situations around you. I think it helps you think through every step and how to best apply yourself. Um, for example, applying for a job. When you're applying for a job, you your exigence may be to show the employer you're the best candidate. Um, in a situation like that, the audience you're trying to persuade to hire you as the hiring team, managers, employees doing interviews, whoever that may be, and you're trying to persuade them that you are the best candidate and should be hired. A constraint for that could be not meeting a job requirement that employers find important, but you do not think is crucial. It's a limiting factor, but there's potentially room for you to persuade that it's not critical. And there's also a chance that they are set in their ways that it is a requirement, and that's that.